There are SUVs sitting on used car lots right now that will outlive your gym membership, your New Year's resolutions, and possibly your neighbor's third marriage. And nobody wants them. The first one is so overlooked it's almost embarrassing. And the last one? Let's just say if you like luxury but also like not crying at the repair shop, stay until the end. Welcome back to Old Man Garage, where we respect torque specs and roast bad car decisions at the same time. Today we're talking about 5 all-wheel drive SUVs that will run 300,000 miles, cost thousands less than a RAV4 or CR-V, and get ignored for the dumbest reasons imaginable. Let's get into it. Toyota Venza, first generation, from 2009 to 2015. Yeah, I can already hear somebody saying, wait, wasn't that the weird wagon thing? Exactly. That's the whole point. The Venza had an identity crisis so bad it needed therapy. Was it a wagon? Was it an SUV? Was it a tall Camry that ate too much at Thanksgiving? Nobody knew. So buyers walked right past it. Huge mistake. Underneath that confused exterior is the Toyota K platform, the same bones used in the Camry of that era and closely related to what Lexus used for the RX. That's basically Toyota saying, let's build this like it's going to Alaska and back. You had 2 engine options, the 2.7-liter 1AR-FE 4-cylinder and the legendary 3.5-liter 2GR-FE V6. Both are known to cross 300,000 miles if you do basic maintenance and don't treat oil changes like optional DLC. The 2.7-liter is simple, dual VVTi, dual overhead cam, not trying to win drag races, just trying to survive the apocalypse. It delivers solid fuel economy for its size, typically mid-20s on the highway. The 3.5-liter V6, though, that's where things get fun. Around 268 horsepower, smooth as butter, and the kind of engine that Toyota has been stuffing into everything from minivans to luxury sedans for years. It pulls strong, sounds good, and paired with a conventional automatic transmission, it's about as drama-free as a powertrain gets. All-wheel drive was available, which makes this thing actually useful in snow states. And here's the kicker. Because the Venza was discontinued in 2015 and never really became a sales superstar, the used market treats it like yesterday's leftovers. Meanwhile, mechanically, it's basically Camry DNA with SUV practicality. It rides comfortably, has a spacious interior, and feels more Lexus than people expect. It's what I like to call stealth luxury on a teacher's salary. Why does nobody talk about it? Because it didn't have the rugged image of a 4Runner or the mainstream hype of a RAV4. It was too practical to be cool. And in America, sometimes if it's not aggressively outdoorsy or turbocharged with 15 driving modes, people get bored. They're lost. Why is it a gold mine? You're getting Toyota reliability, optional V6 power, available all-wheel drive, and a comfortable family hauler for used Camry money. If you find a clean V6 AWD model from 2009 to 2015 with reasonable miles and service records, that's not just a good buy. That's a send it to your group chat immediately buy. And real quick, if you've got that one friend who thinks the only reliable SUV ever made is a RAV4 because that's what Consumer Report said, send them this video right now. Do them a favor. We're trying to save people from overpaying, one parking lot at a time. Now, if this one already surprised you, the next SUV is going to make you question why people sleep on an entire brand. And no, it's not what you think. Mitsubishi Outlander GT, specifically the 2nd generation refresh and 3rd generation models from 2013 to 2021. And before you roll your eyes and say, Mitsubishi still makes cars? Yes, they do. And some of them are low-key tanks wearing clearance rack branding. Here's the rule. Be picky. Very picky. You want the 3.0-liter V6 paired with the 6-speed automatic. You do not want the 2.4-liter 4-cylinder. I repeat, do not adopt the 2.4, like it's a rescue puppy you think you can fix. That engine had oil consumption issues that turned checking your dipstick into a weekly hobby. The V6, on the other hand, is a completely different personality. The 3.0-liter V6 in these Outlander GT models is old school in the best way. Naturally aspirated, timing chain driven, port fuel injection, no complicated turbo plumbing, no carbon buildup nightmares from direct injection only setups. It's the kind of engine that just starts every morning and says, "We doing this again? Cool." Paired with a conventional 6-speed automatic, not a CVT, it avoids the transmission drama that gave so many small crossovers a bad reputation. Power output sits around 224 horsepower, which isn't going to win you a street race against a Mustang, but this isn't about that. This is about long-term ownership without needing a financial advisor for repair bills. Fuel economy is reasonable for a V6 AWD SUV of this size, typically low 20s combined, high 20s on the highway if you behave like an adult. From 2016 onward, the third-generation models got more refinement. Better interior materials, improved ride quality, updated styling that looked less like a confused minivan. Mitsubishi also backed these with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty when new. That's not something you offer if you secretly think your engines are made of glass. That tells you they had confidence in the hardware. Now let's address the elephant in the dealership. Mitsubishi's brand reputation in the US took a hit over the years. They stopped innovating aggressively, sales numbers dipped, and buyers just kind of forgot about them. In the used market, that translates to one beautiful word: cheap. Dirt cheap compared to similarly sized Honda and Toyota competitors with similar mileage. And here's where it gets funny. People will gladly pay thousands more for a high-mileage mainstream badge because it's a Honda. But walk right past an Outlander GT V6 that will quietly do 250,000 to 300,000 miles with regular oil changes and transmission fluid services. That's not logic. That's branding doing push-ups in your brain. The all-wheel drive system is competent, especially in snow and wet conditions. It's not a hardcore rock crawler, but for daily driving in real-world American weather, it does the job without drama. 3 rows were available too, which means you can haul kids, dogs, or that one friend who always needs a ride but never has gas money. Why is it ignored? Because Mitsubishi doesn't have the cool factor right now. It's not trendy. It's not overhyped. It doesn't have a turbo badge or an off-road edition with fake skid plates. It just works. And in the used market, boring and reliable is basically code for smart money. Why is it a gold mine? Strong V6 engine, traditional automatic transmission, available all-wheel drive, low resale prices, and surprisingly low ownership costs. If you're shopping on a budget and need real utility without RAV4 pricing, this is one of those sleeper picks that makes you look like you know something other buyers don't. If this one already made you rethink everything you thought about Mitsubishi, the next SUV is going to hit a different nerve. Smaller, sportier, and way more fun than it has any right to be. Tell me to keep going and we'll jump into number 3. Number 3, Mazda CX-3, from 2016 to 2022. Yes, the tiny one. The SUV that looks like it drinks espresso instead of gasoline. And before you say it's too small, relax. Not everybody needs to transport a soccer team and a golden retriever the size of a small horse. The CX-3 is built on the Mazda 2 platform, which basically means it's a compact car wearing hiking boots. Under the hood, you get the 2.0-liter Skyactiv G 4-cylinder paired with a 6-speed automatic transmission. Simple, naturally aspirated, no turbo, no CVT, no weird engineering experiment that requires a software update every 3 months. Just good, straightforward mechanical design. The 2.0-liter makes around 146 horsepower. On paper, that sounds modest. In reality, because this thing is lightweight, it feels peppy around town. And here's where Mazda does its magic. Steering feel, chassis balance, actual driving enjoyment. This is one of the few small crossovers that doesn't feel like a sad appliance. It feels like someone in engineering actually likes cars. Fuel economy? Excellent. You're looking at low 30s on the highway, sometimes mid-30s if you're not driving like you're late for Thanksgiving dinner. For an all-wheel drive subcompact SUV, that's impressive. It's cheap to run, cheap to insure, and doesn't eat brake pads and tires like heavier crossovers. Now let's talk reliability. Mazda's Skyactiv engines are known for durability. High compression ratio, direct injection done right, and in many models, a design philosophy that prioritizes efficiency and longevity. The 6-speed automatic is a conventional torque converter unit, not a CVT. That matters. Less complexity, fewer long-term horror stories. Owners regularly report high mileage with nothing more than routine maintenance. Oil changes, transmission fluid services, basic upkeep. That's it. And we need to address something important: rust. Mazda in the early 2000s had a reputation for corrosion that could make a snowbelt owner cry. But by the time the CX-3 came out in 2016, Mazda had significantly improved corrosion protection, better coatings, better materials, better long-term durability in states that use salt like it's free. Now, is it small? Yes. The back seat is tight for adults. Cargo space is not going to impress someone coming from a full-size SUV. If you're trying to move a couch, this is not your vehicle. But if you're single, a couple, or someone who values reliability and fun driving dynamics over sheer size, this thing is a hidden gem. Why is it ignored? Because Americans see small SUV and immediately think, compromise. They assume bigger equals better. Meanwhile, they're commuting alone 90% of the time in a 3-row land yacht. The CX-3 doesn't pretend to be something it's not. It's honest. And in the used market, honesty doesn't always get the spotlight. Why is it a gold mine? You can find these under $15,000 with reasonable miles. You get all-wheel drive, strong fuel economy, a reliable powertrain, and driving dynamics that embarrass some larger, more expensive crossovers. It's affordable, efficient, and surprisingly durable. If this one already made you reconsider the whole bigger is better mindset, the next SUV is going to swing back the other way. More space, more power, and an engine that has been carrying a brand on its back for decades, Honda Passport, specifically the 2019 to 2021 models. And this is where things get interesting, because this is basically a Honda Pilot that skipped leg day and said, you know what? I don't need the third row. I need cargo space and attitude. Under the hood sits Honda's 3.5-liter V6, the J35Y6. This engine has been the backbone of Honda's larger vehicles for years. Around 280 horsepower, naturally aspirated, smooth all the way to higher RPM, and known for serious longevity when maintained properly. No turbochargers, no complicated hybrid systems, just good old-fashioned internal combustion doing what it does best. Now let's talk transmission, because if you're a car nerd, your ears just perked up. The 2019 to 2021 Passport uses the ZF 9-speed automatic. And yes, early versions of that transmission in other vehicles had some software and shift quality complaints. But by the time it landed in these later Passports, Honda had ironed out the major issues that plagued earlier applications, like the 2016 Pilot. Technically speaking, the ZF 9-speed is a planetary gear transmission with a wide gear ratio spread. That means better efficiency on the highway and the ability to keep the V6 in its sweet spot for power delivery. It's different from Honda's older in-house 6-speed units, which had higher failure rates in some larger models. The key with the 9-speed? Change the transmission fluid every 30,000 to 40,000 miles. Do that, and this setup is solid. Ignore it, and you're gambling with something that costs more than your last vacation. Fuel economy is respectable for a mid-size AWD SUV with a V6. You're typically looking at around 24 to 25 miles per gallon on the highway. Not hybrid numbers, but very reasonable considering the size and power. The Passport gives you a ton of usable space. Wide cargo area, comfortable seating for 5. Higher ground clearance than a typical crossover. And Honda's IVT M4 all-wheel drive system is actually pretty capable in snow and light off-road conditions. It can actively distribute torque side to side at the rear, which is more advanced than the basic front-wheel drive until you slip systems found in some competitors. Why is it overlooked? Because it lives in an awkward space. It's not as family-focused as the Pilot, and it's not as compact and mainstream as the CR-V. It kind of sits in between. And when buyers walk into a dealership, they often default to what they recognize most. The CR-V gets the attention. The Pilot gets the big family buyers. The Passport quietly waits in the corner like the reliable middle child. And here's the irony. A lot of buyers will stretch their budget for a trendy turbocharged competitor with more screens than a Best Buy display wall, while this naturally aspirated V6 Honda with proven engineering just sits there depreciating peacefully. Why is it a gold mine? You're getting Honda durability, a strong V6, a refined interior, and a capable AWD system without paying luxury brand money. The 2019 to 2021 models, in particular, benefit from updates and improved reliability in the transmission programming. Maintain it properly, and this thing will comfortably push past 200,000 miles and keep going. If this one feels like the perfect balance between practical and powerful, just wait. Because the #1 spot goes to a compact SUV that might be the most well-rounded daily driver in this entire lineup. And yes, it's going to make some die-hard Toyota fans slightly uncomfortable. Mazda CX-5 from 2013 to 2022. And if you've ever driven one, you already know. If you haven't, prepare to question some life choices. This is one of the most well-rounded compact SUVs ever sold in the United States. Period. Under the hood, especially in the naturally aspirated models, you get the 2.5-liter Skyactiv G4 cylinder paired with Mazda's 6-speed automatic transmission. And this combo? Chef's kiss. Reliable, efficient, and actually enjoyable. The 2.5-liter engine uses Mazda's dual injection system in many versions, meaning both port and direct injection. That helps reduce carbon buildup, which is a known issue in some direct injection-only engines. Fewer long-term headaches. It's engineered with a relatively high compression ratio, strong internal components, and a focus on thermal efficiency. With regular oil changes around every 7,500 miles and proper maintenance, these engines routinely reach 200,000 to 250,000 miles without major drama. Power output is around 187 horsepower in the naturally aspirated versions, which is more than enough for daily driving. And because Mazda tunes the chassis so well, it feels more responsive than the numbers suggest. The steering has actual feedback. The suspension doesn't feel like a bowl of oatmeal. It drives like a company that still believes people should enjoy driving, even if they're just going to Target. Fuel economy is strong too. Expect mid to high 20s combined, low 30s on the highway depending on year and drivetrain. And yes, all-wheel drive is widely available across these model years. So whether you're dealing with Midwest snow or just want extra traction in the rain, the CX-5 handles it confidently. Inside, the CX-5 punches above its weight. Especially in the 2017 to 2022 second-generation models, the interior quality is surprisingly upscale. Soft touch materials, clean design, minimal cheap plastic vibes. It feels closer to entry-level luxury than mainstream economy. That's part of the reason it's such a sleeper. People assume it's just another small crossover, but then they sit inside and realize it feels like something more expensive. Data from large vehicle ownership studies consistently shows the CX-5 ranking high in long-term durability. Owners report high mileage with standard maintenance only. No constant check engine light drama. No mysterious electrical gremlins draining your battery at 2 a.m. Just consistent, predictable reliability. Why is it sometimes overlooked? Because when Americans think reliability, they default to Toyota and Honda like it's a reflex. Mazda doesn't always get the same brand recognition, even though in recent years it's been right there with them. Some buyers still think of old rust stories from the early 2000s and assume nothing has changed. Meanwhile, Mazda quietly improved build quality and corrosion protection years ago. Why is it a goldmine? You're getting Toyota-level dependability, better driving dynamics than most competitors, available all-wheel drive, strong fuel economy, and an interior that feels borderline premium. All for used prices that are often lower than comparable RAV4 or CR-V models with similar mileage. Now, before we wrap this up, let's talk about the bonus pick. Because maybe you're thinking, that's cool, but I want something nicer, something quieter, something that makes my neighbors think I'm doing better than I actually am. Bonus pick, Lexus RX 350, 4th generation, from 2016 to 2022. This is the luxury SUV that refuses to die. Under the hood is the 3.5-liter 2GR FKS V6, a naturally aspirated engine that represents the end of an era. While competitors moved to smaller turbocharged engines, Lexus stuck with displacement and long-term durability. This engine uses the D4S dual injection system, combining port and direct injection for better efficiency and reduced carbon buildup. It produces around 295 horsepower, delivers smooth, linear power, and is known to exceed 300,000 miles with proper maintenance. That's not internet mythology. That's consistent owner reporting. The ride quality is quiet and composed. The interior is built with typical Lexus attention to detail. And while a BMW X5 or a Mercedes GLE might feel sportier for the first few years, they can also feel like a financial experiment after 100,000 miles. The RX 350, on the other hand, just keeps going. It's the SUV equivalent of that one relative who eats whatever they want and somehow has perfect blood work every year. All-wheel drive is available, making it practical for real-world conditions. Fuel economy is reasonable for a mid-size luxury SUV with a V6, typically mid-20s on the highway. And long-term ownership costs are shockingly manageable compared to its European rivals. Why is it a gold mine? Because you get luxury, comfort, and Toyota-engineered reliability in one package. Yes, it costs more upfront than the other vehicles on this list. But over time, fewer major repairs and strong resale value can make it one of the smartest luxury buys out there. So there you have it. 5 overlooked all-wheel drive SUVs that can run 300,000 miles, cost thousands less than the obvious choices, and quietly outlast half the trendy stuff on the road. At Old Man Garage, we don't chase hype. We chase value, durability, and a little bit of fun along the way. If this video helped you rethink your next used SUV, hit that like button so the algorithm stops recommending overpriced crossovers to innocent people. Subscribe to Old Man Garage for more brutally honest car breakdowns, and drop a comment telling me which one you'd actually park in your driveway.